Let's go. Only justice. Only vengeance. Laverne, excellent timing as ever. Deacon Clem has just sent word that Bishop Watino will see us now, by which I mean right this instant. It's extremely short notice, I know, but it would not do to miss the opportunity to learn how he and Vendro may be connected. Not wishing to keep his grace waiting, Lord Emmerich is already on his way to St. Remenal's Cathedral. Come, let us hurry there ourselves. Let's go. This time I found the door. Okay. Let's go. Arterel first. It seems His Grace has yet to arrive. Laverne, full glad I am that he could join us. My lords, I'm so sorry. I informed His Grace that you were making your way hither, but shortly before you arrived, he recalled that he had an urgent business and had to leave the cathedral at once. You cannot have yet gone far, though, so if you wish to search for him in the hopes you can still steal a moment of his time. To grant us an audience only to depart with such haste, what business could be so pressing? His Grace has yet to return, I am afraid. Okay. Vartino and Arterel are here as well. I found His Grace, Laverne. Yeah, I can see that. Well now, that even the savior of Ishgard should be here. Your Grace, perhaps this is simply our misunderstanding, but we were under the impression that you had granted us an audience. Lord Speaker, rest assured I was just about to return to the cathedral. There's no need, Your Grace. This will not take long. As you may have heard, we are investigating a young man named Vendro. Is he known to you? No. I cannot say he is. With the exception of the former Archimandrite, I am sure I know no one by that name. But mine and the Archbishop's are known to many, yes? Perhaps this youth took inspiration from parochial services over which we presided. Godly soul that he is, full glad I am that his faith was of comfort to him in sickness, and I pray to alone that he will soon be found in good health. Now then, if there was nothing else, I shall return to my duties. Oh. Fear not, Your Eminence, I shall carry on your legacy. We have completed the preparations as per your instructions, but are you certain this will work? It will. It must. Lord Emmerich spoke the truth when he revealed the Archbishop sought primal powers to strengthen the people's faith. I could not bring myself to believe it, not at first, but in the course of cataloguing His Eminence's personal articles, I came upon his journal. Therein he had written that, through abundant ether and fervent prayer, it is possible to make gods of men. All the power we require lies in this place, this Azizla, by channeling the essential elements into the soulless flesh and sword we found. We shall summon forth King Thordan and his Knights 12, and by his blessing Ishgard shall be restored to its former glory. I knew he would be trouble. By the way, this is not Thordan's sword. This is the sword of one of the Knight Heaven's Ward. What is this? It's just an ordinary man, scarcely changed from before. His Eminence, I must protect. Cloned Ellison. No, this isn't right. Confound it! Perhaps I overlooked something. I must return to the Holy See and review the journal. Your Grace, what shall we do with this thing? Leave it. There's a failure without use or value. The denizens of this place will deal with it soon enough. Interesting. Laverne, are you well? Were you perchance granted a vision of the past? An attempted summoning of King Thordan and his Knights 12. Your Grace, you should know full well that summoning is strictly forbidden. You will accompany us to the congregation and explain yourself. I have dedicated my life to the church, conducted my affairs in accordance with the scriptures, and taught others to do likewise. But you look at all from us, tore down everything that defined us. You took it all from us, sorry. You cannot know how it feels to have your very existence rejected, to be forsaken by your community, to be denied by your society. Well, I deny you and this justice. I deny an Ishgard where the church has no place. I refuse to accept it. Do you hear me? I refuse to accept it. Your Grace, no! Well, justice was swift. Though you should come to violence yet again, would that your hand had not been forced, my lords. Deacon Clem should not be alone at this time. I shall remain with him while tending to the aftermath. When things have settled, I'll return to the congregation. Pray go on ahead and get some rest. I wonder how many of these experiments he has done. Guess this might be the fastest way, actually. For once. It's not bad, but... Oh, the other one would have been faster. Oh well. Yes, yes, yes. I know what you're going to say. Your text doesn't change. How fares the deacon? Well, enough, given the circumstances. Though understandably shaken, he is more determined than ever to help his fellows. Truly, he's possessed of a stout heart. But to think that even a member of the Synod could succumb to despair and turn. The crisis gripping the church is far graver than I had imagined. In pushing for such abrupt separation of religion and state, we may have exacerbated the growing divide between the clergy and the general populace. Lauren, will you recount in full that which you witnessed in your vision? Sure. Yeah, especially please enlighten us who the other two people were. That he should seek to use one of Alex's unholy abominations to create a primal. Yet that which manifested was not like the being you fought, but rather retained to the form of a man, when driven by the desire to protect the Archbishop. We may safely assume the bishop did not have sufficient ether. Bereft of Nitok's eye, the sword Ascalon no longer has such power. It also shouldn't have been Ascalon, because Ascalon was summoned forth by Thordan. It didn't exist before, technically. Nor does that of the Warring Triad remain to be harnessed, thanks to your valorous intervention. But if the summoning failed, how did the clone come to possess life? And what purpose drives it? Lack of ether notwithstanding, the necessary components were present for a summoning. Perhaps the ritual itself was a success, and the vessel, though imperfect, arose as a champion of the Archbishop. Yet how did he come to be in the Central Highlands? You believe that this clone and the man who became the blasphemy are one and the same? Nay, I merely speculate, but considering that what we know of the clone and Vendreau, it would seem a likely possibility. Whatever the truth may be, it will not elude us forever. But first, I must lay some groundwork for the next phase of our investigation. God's permitting, we'll have news to share ere long, so pray look in on us when you can. I like the differences in how each of them is like saying goodbye to me and be like, hey, you know, come back later. Because like Royal Barn was all about, take a break, you've earned it, come back later, please. Leave me alone for now. And here it is, hey, if you have a moment, can you come over, please? Wills unending, faiths unbending. Laverne, you are ever a sight for sore eyes. Ill tidings, my friends. I dispatched the Temple Knights to find the clergyman who aided in Bishop Watino's summoning attempt. Regrettably, when confronted, all turned and had to be put down. Without their accounts, how then to ascertain that the clone and Vondro are the same individual? Maintaining the assumption that they are, perhaps we should instead consider how Vondro may have found his way to Kufus. According to Laverne's vision, he was abandoned in Nazisla. But what did he do afterwards? There's but one way to ascertain the truth. We follow his trail. We shall go and search for the clone in Nazisla. If he is still there, then we are dealing with a different individual. A splendid idea. When we leave the floating continent in your capable hands. Meanwhile, Laverne and I shall retrace Vondro's steps when he first appeared. Upon being found in the Central Highlands, he was taken to Camp Dragonhead. Let us begin by making inquiries there. Should we say hello to your brother, perchance? No? Okay. Fair. I wouldn't say hello to him either. Please tell me we teleport there already. Nope. Would have been too nice. Boink, boink. Inside, I assume. Hey there. It is ever an honor to receive you. What brings you to our humble camp this morn? An injured man who was found out in the wilds. Yes, I know that one. I was with the patrol that chanced into him north of here, at Providence Point. He was unconscious and in a bad way, and we hurriedly bore him back to camp. After doing what we could for him, we sent him on to the city. Okay. Taking notes here. I am going to say hello to Emmeline. Laverne, old boy, when I saw you off in the Ragnarok, I had every faith that you would return. And here you are. A more dependable comrade a man could not hope for. Okay, you don't have any special... Lord Emmeline's spell of absence afforded me time to return to my writing. I must admit that life was rather duller without him, though not necessarily for the worse. Aww. Good boy. Over yonder. Theo Balin. Okay. Oh, from House Selenite. Which makes sense, because all of them here are... Huh? Investigating the stranger we found, are you? I wasn't involved myself, so I can't tell you much about the fellow. But in case it is of interest, earlier the same day I caught sight of an airship flying dangerously low. It soon disappeared into the brewing snowstorm, looking none too steady. Okay, that's certainly a curiosity. Let's go into this house. Well now, if it isn't the late Lord Horshaffon's dear friend, is there something you require? Ah yes, the mystery man was among those who attended him. He was not attired for the snow, much less the snowstorm in which he had been caught, and was suffering from frostbites. When people are extremely cold, they may mistakenly feel that they are warm in this robe. That might explain his state of undress. Huh. Basically naked, was he? Ah, there you are. There you are. Were you able to learn aught of interest? A hastily written note which reads, airship sighted flying low near Camp Dragonheads. A mysterious man found collapsed after an airship was seen of flying low. Yes, the accounts I heard are consistent with yours. Good, that's good. I for one am curious about the fate of this unknown airship. To that end, I have arranged a pair of black chocobos for us, the more efficiently to scour the area. Shall contain our search for Tirparent's Point, where Vendro is said to have been found. If you are ready, let us be off. Yeah. Okay. Nothing so far. Let us continue northeast. That must have been a gigantic fortress. Huh. That looks like an airship to me. And that looks like Fafnir. By the Fury, it's the blasphemy. Yay! His Eminence must protect His Eminence. Ah, you're finally awake. Alone and be praised. How are you feeling? Strong enough to speak? Can you tell me your name? My name is Zephyrin, no, Cherubert? Or was I Valgud? Polocrane? So many names swirling in my mind, and voices that reject them. Send none they will accept. Are you alright? Vendro. My name is Vendro. Well, now, that's the same as our infirmary. I dare say fate has guided you to us. So, Vendro, if you're feeling up to a little conversation, can you tell me about yourself? Anything else you remember? Anything at all? A proud son of House Zamael, nay, a devout servant of Alone, who lives for the rush of battle, the pleasure of inflicting pain, the attentions of maidens, to fight beside my brother in arms. A lowborn rand whose every effort went unrewarded, whose very name disqualified him from ever leading the Temple Knights. His Eminence raised me up, granted me a place at his side. From that day forth, I pledged my sword to his service, pledged my very being, my life to be offered up in defense of his. I am a knight of the Heaven's Ward, sworn to protect and serve the Archbishop. Oh, you're a knight? Forgive me if that sounded rude, but I had no idea. And while I realize your memories may be a bit muddled, I'm afraid I must inform you that the Heaven's Ward have not been seen in quite some time, and are presumed dead. And the Archbishop, well, he is most certainly no longer of this world. Well, the important thing is you're safe now, and we'll help you get back on your feet. Speaking of which, let me bring some food and water. You must be absolutely famished. The Archbishop dead? No, this cannot be. How can I still be alive when he is not? I must find him. Laverne! Oh, hi there. For the glory of King Forden. Another vision, I take it. Yeah, we're having a lot in the caster role quest. Let's make for Ishgard. I expect that Lord Attarel will return soon, if he hasn't already. And we should both be glad to hear your tale. But heading to the yeah, okay. Never mind. Why am I even reading this? It's always the same. Ah, Laverne, I pray your search was more productive than my own. Everyone is here. Excellent. So, were you able to find our clone in Azazla? Nay, naught but the discarded Astalon remained. How fared you with your own efforts in Central Islands? In the course of the retracting Mandro's steps, we came upon the wreck of the Soleil. I suspect they found the vessel abandoned in Azazla and tried to use it to return to Ishgard. but he crashed en route and was subsequently rescued by a patrol from Camp Dragonhead. So it would seem the Archbishop's airship was not the only thing we found. Profane Fafnir was there too. The creature chose to flee, but not before Laverne had a vision of Vendro's past. God, my friend, share with us what you have witnessed. All the pieces fit, and it is as you surmised, my lord. Vendro and the clone are one and the same, and in his despair he turned into the blasphemy. Yet the confusion he exhibited when he asked his name, just as if he wasn't sure of his own identity. According to the Scions, primals retain the memories of their previous incarnations. From this, it may be assumed that the clone harbors the memories of all those who became with King Forden and his Knights 12. Though he struggled to reconcile these conflicting memories, he managed to settle on the name Vendro. The voices within were clearly in agreement when facing Laverne, the mere sight of whom drove the blasphemy to flee. Above all, however, they share in the desire to protect the Archbishop. This desire was seared into Vendro's very being, and when he learned that he had no longer had a purpose. The Heaven's Ward took arms against us and Ishgard. By the hand were we robbed of one of our finest knights and a dear friend. Even so, I would not wish such terrible fate upon them. The selfsame fate inflicted upon full many clergymen, and the fate I fear ordinary citizens will succumb to if we fail to act. The people will not soon forget the betrayal of our church's leadership, nor should they. But absent the comfort and stability once afforded to them by the institution, many have become lost and are all too vulnerable to despair. The people don't have to forget, but they need to move forward. The church can still be a source of comfort, but things need to change. I prefer that one, actually. I thought as much myself, my friend, but to hear you say it as well, indeed, when the ground upon which we stand crumbles, we must find the strength to move forward, even should it cause us pain to do so. What, Arturel? At the next house session, I should call for an economical council to be held, whatever that may be. My lord, such a gathering is reserved for... Oh, you intend for the church to codify new doctrine. Since the separation of religion and state, we have refrained from interfering in church affairs. But if the church is to remain a part of Ishgardian society and continue serving the people, it must reconsider its role and formally address recent revelations. I would call for this council not as a Lord Speaker, but as a humble adherent of the faith. Long had I considered whether such measures were necessary, but lacked the courage to set them in motion. I now have it thanks to you. I shall attend to the necessary preparations at once. Among other things, we must reach out to those of the clergy who are amenable to reform. I ask for your patience in the meantime. Yeah, sure. 2 more quests to go. Laverne, owing to Lord Emeric's swift action, I am pleased to say that the Ecumenical Council will soon be held. In case you are unaware, the Council is the highest assembly in the Ishgarian Orthodox Church, its purpose to deliberate and decide upon doctrine. The previous one was held no less than 80 years ago, and 4 archbishops have since come and gone. As such, most Ishgarians know little of it save that which they have read in the historical records. Traditionally, the archbishop and members of the synod would meet behind closed doors. In light of Bishop Watino's fate, however, this time the doors will be thrown open to the public. Interesting. Indeed, for the first time in history, all men and women of faith may have a hand in shaping the mission and the teachings of the Church. It is my hope that you will also join us in this endeavor. Deacon Clem, allow me to express our gratitude for your efforts in facilitating the Council. We appreciate the difficulty of your position. I merely heed my conscience and my faith, my lords. Acting on Bishop Watino's set, I shall do all within my power to see that the Church may serve the people once more. Hey, maybe he can rise to, the highest station. Where's the Lord Speaker, if I may ask? He stepped outside for a moment, saying that he wished to gather his thoughts ahead of the Council. The hour is nigh, however. Reverend, I shall proceed to the vault with the good deacon. In the meantime, may I ask you to find Lord Emeric? He should be at the last vigil, I believe. Sure. Last vigil. Ah, there he is. Oh, 'tis you, my friend. Is it time already? I see. My apologies for making you come and fetch me. I have been thinking, Laverne, on the path I have chosen to walk, and on those who have been left behind as a consequence of my actions. Those who died fighting, those burdened with boundless grief, those deprived of position and purpose. Like any nation, Ishgard is made up of disparate souls with disparate beliefs. Without an enemy to unite us, we recall the differences we once set aside out of necessity, and find amongst our old friends new ideological foes. The future I had envisioned is far more difficult to secure than I ever imagined. What must I do for our people to live in harmony, for our nation to move forward as one? Such questions I have been pondering. We should begin making our way to the council. Shall we continue our conversation while we walk? Ready? Then let us be off. If it is agreeable, I would like to look on Forton Manor. Yeah. It feels like another age to you and yours when no more than foreign wards of House Forton. In actual fact, it may be considered so. For your coming set in motion a chain of events that brought an end to the Dragonsong War, ushering a new age of harmony. You paved the way for meaningful change in our nation, and for that you shall ever have my gratitude. Now then, shall we continue to the on to the architects? Sure. King Tholin has knighted 12, the murderers of the Ratatusker. Since the truth of their ancient crime came to light, many have demanded that these images be torn down. Yet though what our founding fathers did was wrong, never is it right to simply expunge them and their deeds from history. To do so would be to deny our people's part in what followed for 1,000 years. We have the chance to forge a new future, but we, as a nation, must decide how we will confront our past. Forgive me, I was lost in thought yet again. Let us join Deacon Clem at the vault. That is 8. Wait. Okay, so we have 8 here. Oh, there are the last 2, 4. Yeah, there's the 5th pair, and those 2 are the last 2. Okay. And that would be King Thornton then. Good to know. Good to know. I completely forgot about that part, honestly. So, nice reminder. Thank you, game. There you are, my friends. The council is about to convene. Let us take our place in the audience hall. Audience hall, or should I say at the table of discussions? Esteemed members of the clergy and honored adherents of the faith, I thank you all for your attendance. In recent days, our nation has been wrecked by a series of tragedies. Those among us who do Halonen's work have been transformed into abominations. This dreadful phenomenon has been brought about by the final days, and it is upon our despair and anguish that it feeds. Thus, if we are to prevent further tragedy, we must strive to ensure that all Ishgardians, clergymen and citizens alike, abide with peace and love for one another in their hearts. To that end, I have called this economical council the first in generations, that we might together determine a path forward for the church and our society as a whole. Since antiquity, the Ishgardian Orthodox Church served the people in 2 respects: as a furious spear to strike at the heart of dragonkind, and as a fierce shield to safeguard the souls of men. But now that we are at peace with the Duranians, the church need no longer serve as a spear, and so we must now reconsider how we might better serve as a shield for our brethren. The hierarchy must be reformed, and for that we need accountability. The upper echelon must be stripped of rank at a minimum, and investigations conducted, trials held if the evidence is sufficiently damning. And then we may turn our attention to their doctrines of lies. As our predecessor did before us, we of the Synod have ever sought to interpret the scriptures to the best of our ability, and thence convey Halonen's will to the people. Such fervent pursuit of retribution at the expense of doctrine would come also at the expense of our faith. Have we won the war to lose our souls? Oh, Haloni, are we outside your grace? This bird's ill. At this rate, someone might turn. Since the war's end, the Church and the faithful have stood at a crossroads, unable to take the next step forward. His Grace Bishop of Watino, may he walk in Haloni's halls, was one such soul, and in his longing for simpler times, he resorted to using forbidden magics. He succumbed to despair. In our minds we renounce the lies upon which our nation was built, but in our hearts we yearn for the righteousness, misguided through wars that gave us comfort and purpose for so long. So let us not forget who we were. Let us confront the mistakes of the past and learn from them, that we do not repeat the mistakes of our forefathers. As fervently as we believed in our sacred duty, we struggled to accept the Church's deception and embrace change. The legacy of Thornton weighs heavy, and there is the temptation to simply cast it aside like a mantle that suits us no longer. Yet, that would dishonor the sacrifice of those who went before, countless souls who served the people with purest intent. And so, heavy though it may be, let us together bear this burden as we set forth anew. Our friend Laverne risked life and limb to reveal the truth of us. The truth that our legends and our scripture were tainted by betrayal, but not wholly corrupted. Though the great walls and towering spires of our city may have been built with murder and deception, they rest upon the foundation immutable and true. Our devotion to her alone, whom we have worshipped since before our forefathers settled these lands. The Church is a fond of practical wisdom, and its teachings guide us in our daily lives. Such things define our faith no less than the lies. We can acknowledge our sins without renouncing our religion. Aye, and without rejecting who we are. A comprehensive review of scripture as well as historical literature will be necessary. Revisions, as appropriate, must be made to ensure that the truth of our past is preserved for future generations. With your peerless knowledge of church doctrine, I dare say none is better suited to leading that effort than you. I also expect that many eyes will be required to pore over all the tomes. I know many idle men and women of faith who would jump at the chance to do Haloni's work once more. Good. Give people a job. And shelter. That day, so very long ago, I had no answer to my father's words, but it seems the people had it within them all along.